What's up, Taiwan? I'm Joyce with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The death toll from a magnitude 6.8 earthquake in Tibet has risen to at least 126, with rescue operations still underway. The quake hit a remote region near Mount Everest and was so powerful, tremors were felt in neighboring Nepal and India. Rescue workers in Tibet continue the search for survivors in below freezing temperatures after a deadly 6.8 magnitude earthquake hit the Himalayan foothills. Over 400 people trapped in the rubble have been rescued, but at least 126 people have now been confirmed dead, with over 180 others injured. The quake has destroyed thousands of homes in the remote Shigatse region, where some 800,000 people live in one of Tibetan Buddhism's holiest cities and surrounding mountain areas. The tremors were also felt in neighboring Bhutan, India, and Nepal, and even on Mount Everest, the world's tallest mountain.
I saw many avalanches coming down, seracs collapsing, big chunks of glacier exploding, and a pressure wave hitting my tent.
First responders here are doing all they can to move in rations, tents, and other supplies as Chinese President Xi Jinping called for all-out efforts to rescue and resettle people. Beijing controls Tibet as an autonomous region within China, but for many Tibetans, their loyalties lie with spiritual leader the Dalai Lama, who has lived in exile in India since a failed anti-Chinese uprising in 1959. Some members of the Tibetan parliament in exile say China is to blame for what they see as man-made reasons behind the quake, pointing to Beijing's mining policies and plan to build the world's largest dam in Tibet.
When you dig the natural habitat, you will have more and more disaster that are all made by man, the Chinese wrong policy.
Beijing rejects criticism from those in exile and international rights groups who have accused the Chinese Communist Party of violating human rights in Tibet for years. Here at the site of the powerful tremor, the focus now is on finding any remaining survivors, with rescuers battling against time and the frigid cold. Devin Tsai and Joyce for TaiwanPlus. As part of exercises ahead of the Lunar New Year, Taiwan's military is showing off how it prepares for conflict using some of the world's most advanced systems. Jaime Ocon is in Taichung to get a closer look at those weapons.
I'm here at one of Taiwan's largest air bases in central Taiwan, where the Air Force is giving us a rare look into some of the weapon systems it uses, not just to defend its bases, but also the civilian population. On display here is the US-made Patriot missile defense system, one of the most advanced systems in the world. In the event of a war, the missile launcher, radar equipment, and command center would all work together to protect the airspace above the country against missiles and enemy fighter jets. Taiwan has almost a dozen of these units scattered across the country, all nearby major cities and military bases.
我们选的位置的话，就是会符合我们放列的一些要求。那尽量是选营演并良好的，然后幅员够大的位置。那我们平常机动的话，也会有戒护单位实施帮我们实施戒护，主要是以战术控制中心的电脑去评估、实施做接战的动作。
The Air Force is also demonstrating how to quickly rearm and resupply its fighter jets in the event of a war. Personnel here work as a team to refuel and equip live ammunition into the aircraft so that these planes are always ready to go.
这些都是我们平常习以为常的工作，那因此我们都是可以在实现前的10-20分钟完成上述的这些的挂载作业。
Many of the fighter jets here will be moving around Taiwan as part of 3 days of combat readiness drills ahead of the Lunar New Year. This kind of exercise is meant to demonstrate the different kinds of weapons, equipment, and people involved in defending the country. The military says that it's staying on alert and nothing will change in terms of protecting the country as the millions of people in Taiwan get ready for their holiday. Fu Hua Hong and Jaime Ocon in Taichung for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's building standards are back under scrutiny following an apartment block collapse in New Taipei. The incident has left residents and renters in limbo. And as John Ventrias reports, it's not the first time an apartment building has toppled in Taiwan.
The bulk of the rubble is now cleared away, 2 days after excavation work toppled this apartment building. Somehow, no one was injured, despite the suddenness of the collapse. But the neighbors are still shaken up.
听到184瓷砖掉落，马上3秒钟，整个房子都倒下来，我就赶快开门叫老公赶快跟小孩子逃出来。
But over 100 people are now evacuated, many now without homes. After structural engineers found it safe enough, residents were allowed to retrieve whatever they'd had to leave behind in the sudden rush to get out.
那个猫来我们家才5个月，还生了4只小宝宝，那他们现在母子都5只在里面。
Though more details are likely to come, investigators say they have some idea of what went wrong here. Already, the construction firm and a contractor are each being fined around $3,000 US.
崩塌这个有涉及到原来的整个地下室这个开挖过程的工序，甚至在整个降水过程或者是在抽水过程有无异常的一个讯号。
But Taiwan's been here before. Its construction industry has a spotty safety record overall. And it's not even 2 years since the last time a similarly botched project toppled apartment blocks. That incident in Taipei's Dazhi area saw nearly 400 evacuated. Back in Sanchong, neighbors say this could just be a coincidence, just bad luck in a place that's always had high water tables and unstable foundations.
因为我们三重泸州这边的地质是真的是很不好，因为以前是沼泽地啊，都在做农地的嘛。
But there's also skepticism about whether a $3,000 fine has the force needed to encourage construction firms to be careful.
这一定是罚太少了，对啊，这个罚不够啦，对啊，这个9万对他们来讲说真的也是，这个9牛1毛而已。
The construction firm in charge of this site has offered apology money, $6,000 US for homeowners and around $1,000 for displaced renters. Further compensation will come after negotiations too. For now, though, evacuees can only sit tight and wait to see what kind of offer they can get. There's still a sense of disbelief about the sudden destruction on this ordinary street. But whether negligence or whether just bad luck are to blame, not for the first time in recent years, a construction mishap has turned lives upside down. Wang and John Ventrias in New Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
A Chinese actor found in Myanmar after going missing in Thailand is now with Thai authorities. Wang Xing was reported missing in northern Thailand near its border with Myanmar. Thai police say Wang was in the country for a casting call and may have fallen victim to human traffickers known to operate in the area. China's foreign ministry says it is closely monitoring the incident.
中国有关驻外使领馆已接到当事人亲属的求助，并保持着密切沟通，正在核实情况，开展工作。
Wang's case was widely shared on Chinese social media, raising concerns it could deter Chinese tourists from visiting Thailand. South Korea's anti-corruption agency has been given more time to detain impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol. A court reissued a warrant for his arrest after the first one expired on Monday night. Authorities want to detain Yoon after he refused to appear for questioning over his martial law decree in December. They've been blocked by the Presidential Security Service, which has fortified Yoon's residence with barricades and barbed wire. It's unknown how long the new warrant will be valid. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has refused to rule out using military force or economic action to gain control of the Panama Canal and Greenland. Trump made the comments during a press conference saying the U.S. needed both the trade waterway and the Danish territory for economic security. 2 weeks before he takes power, the president-elect also reiterated his interest in turning Canada into a U.S. state and renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Social media giant Meta is scrapping fact-checking, saying it aims to encourage more speech on its platforms. The owner of Instagram and Facebook says it will now rely on users to write community notes as factual corrections to posts. The company will also reduce curbs on discussions around contentious topics, including gender identity and immigration. CEO Mark Zuckerberg said in a video announcement that the fact-checkers had become too politically biased and there was too much censorship. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, who had previously been banned by the platforms, praised the changes.
Well, I watched their news conference, and I thought it was a very good news conference. I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook.
The move comes less than 2 weeks before Trump takes office for the second time on January 20th. Around 30,000 people have been ordered to evacuate as a wildfire burns outside of Los Angeles. It's already consumed over 11 square kilometers of land, and fire officials say the blaze could get stronger.
We are not out of danger. The National Weather Service has predicted that the winds are going to pick up and get worse. We're going to have the most significant wind event between 10 p.m. this evening and 5 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Some residents are fleeing on foot as roads out of the area are blocked. While there have been no injuries reported, a state of emergency has been declared. Authorities say the fire may be the worst in the area in over a decade. French far-right politician Jean-Marie Le Pen has died at the age of 96. Le Pen was known for downplaying the Holocaust and for his extremist views on race and immigration. He founded the far-right National Front Party and ran for president in 2002. His daughter, Marine Le Pen, took over the party in 2011. After rebranding it as the National Rally, she established it as a major political force. Soldiers who survived injuries on the battlefields of Ukraine are healing spiritually at a holy site in Greece. Through faith, they say they're finding peace after almost 3 years of war. Bryn Thomas reports.
A 1,000-kilometer bus trip brought Ivan from Lviv, Ukraine to northern Greece. On the sacred slopes of Mount Athos, he and other veterans are seeking peace after enduring life-changing injuries in the largest war fought in Europe in 70 years.
Психологічно я до цього був готовий, тому що я розумів, на що я йду, які в мене великі ризики.
Ivan and 22 other veterans, scarred physically or emotionally in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, are on a 4-day pilgrimage organized by Ukrainian authorities. The trip aimed at healing soldiers deeply affected by the ongoing war.
Звісно, після того, як відвідав сам Афон, неодноразово відчув благодать, відчув Боже благословення, бо ми розуміємо, що Боже благословення і Божа благодать набагато більше реабілітує героя, воїна, ніж фізична або психологічна реабілітація вдома.
A UNESCO World Heritage Site, Mount Athos is a spiritual home for the Orthodox Church. Since the 10th century, it has been a pilgrimage destination available to men only.
Багато військових сьогодні страждає після подій, які відбулися за 3 роки. Є багато військових, які страждають від різних недуг, є поранені, і треба їх реабілітувати.
Mount Athos has long-standing ties to Russian Orthodoxy and hosted President Putin in 2016 to mark 1,000 years of Russian monastic presence. But Greece, a NATO member, supports Ukraine in the war, straining its ties with Moscow. Ivan and his comrades visited only Greek Orthodox sites where they took communion in incense-filled chapels overlooking the Aegean Sea. Ivan's fellow soldiers carried him over cobblestones and up the narrow stairs of the monasteries where he found strength in his faith.
Звісно, за перемогу, за товаришів, які там, і товаришів, які загинули.
On Mount Athos, Ivan and his comrades seek more than rest. They seek spiritual healing from the scars of a war that's ravaged their homeland. Through faith and prayer, they are guided towards peace and strength by a grace that transcends their wounds. Patrick and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Don't forget to visit the TaiwanPlus website and follow our social media. Before we go, take a look at these giant pandas playing in the snow as Washington, D.C. is blanketed by a winter storm. I'm Joyce, take care and see you next time.